Give us that intro again, Adam. G-Force. What
Yeah,
was it?
we we do everything we can to not talk to each other.
Yeah, because we're trying to fill up the show with a lot of guests here today.
Lots of good.
Um, so we're expecting Kyle Steckley, Todd Lewis, Dale Shaw, Mikey Krutch going to join us tonight. And all you fine people hanging out with us. First
Big
off,
show.
Adam, let's talk about the response we get out in the community. More and more every week I have people come up to us that I don't know and I feel so bad. And I always try and ask, hey, what's your name? Not like we can remember them all. But man, we have some awesome people that stop us. A demographic that I wouldn't really expect to be watching us on computers. Let's be frank. A lot of older
Yeah,
gentlemen and
that's
race fans pay attention to us, and I'm always stunned. And I don't mean to be age shaming anyone. I'm just like, wow, it's awesome. But we,
well.
we really appreciate
What's
it. It's so cool.
what's interesting to me is so many people talk about watching the show or talk about oh this was really cool or oh man you were so wrong in this, which is great. I love it. More people make comments to me that they watch the show than actually watch the show. Because we see the numbers every week, and I'm proud of them. They're nice numbers. But you go somewhere and so many people talk about it. Like, well, how does this work? If there's 1,000 people that watched this video last week, I probably account for 100 of those views. And tons of people come up to say, oh, we watched this, or we agree with this, or we disagree with this. It was really cool to go down to Brighton on the weekend.
Oh yeah,
And
how'd that go?
people, uh, awesome. Some first time winners, some drama. It was a good show. The spinner spinny rule came up, and it was controversial. So it was a good night. But
I do want to discuss
th-
that because first off, so just to wrap up, we appreciate the comments. Let us know what you like, and it's funny for me, Adam. I just got my hair cut today, right? So I got a fresh trim. But a few weeks ago, last time I got cut, somebody said, "Oh, fresh cut this week," and I thought, man, you guys are paying way too close attention to what Adam and I are doing. If you notice, I got my hair cut, but
which, which
we
which is awesome. Thank you. But
yeah, for
it's
sure.
strange, right? It's
We've been doing this 25 years. We've never had quite this much of a connection. It is a lot of fun. Um, as always, let us know what you want us to talk about, and whatever we have to go over, we'd love to hear from you. Um, I got a topic thrown at me today. They wanted us to discuss what Teeple's real name was. And I said, Teeple yells at me every time I come near with a microphone and a camera. I am not revealing his real name, not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
and he. So here's the background on that, and it's all we'll say about it. For
I'm not
personal
touching it.
reasons, no, for personal reasons, he doesn't want to be seen. He signs in as Go Fast People every week. That's what he wants to be referred to as. And Clint, it's not our business to say otherwise.
No, for sure.
So it's a
What
driver's request. We're happy to do it, and that's that.
Want to remind everybody, go to our new website, gforcetv.net. It's a great way to look at our upcoming schedule, look at some of the sponsors, and you can watch live right there when we are live at any point in time, so don't forget that. Our quick quit with trivia will be coming up a little bit later in the show. We're going to have a nice weekend wrap-up, as we'll sit down and talk to Mikey Krutch and all the stuff going on this weekend, set up for the big Pinty's race coming up in just over a month from now. Then we'll have Todd Lewis on to talk about the Indy, Toronto, and what you guys are going to see when you get there on Friday, Adam, and throughout the weekend because Todd's a big IndyCar guy. And then we're going
Yep.
to jump into Flamborough this weekend and set up the ABC event with two of the best from there. Dale Shaw, who spent a lot of years there, and Kyle Steckley, who won unexpectedly last year on the tour there in one of his early career races. Adam, let's talk about Brighton. So,
Yeah, I was going to cut you off to say I really want to get some of this in. Kyle Phillips, first time win with the Southern Ontario Sprints. Man, he spanked the field, had them covered. Great kid. Of course, we've known Tim Phillips for a long time. Good people from Grand Island, New York. I thought that was fabulous. Aiden Fletcher. You've announced him, Clinton. I've announced him. I don't know how long he's been racing, but as long as I've been going to Brighton the last couple of years to announce, he's been there. He made a last corner pass in lap traffic to pick up his first ever win. I think it was in the Comp 4 class. I can't keep their Comp 4 and their mini stock class straight.
I
But
think they're running together now, aren't they? And then they have different winners. At least they were doing that in the past.
Yeah, right now they're separate, but phenomenal race. And it was Tommy Bailey leading, and Tommy Bailey wins some down there. And he just hesitated going into turn 3 on the last lap. Aiden Fletcher drove down in there and stole the win away. And that was really cool to see him as a first-time winner in Victory Lane. And then there was a first-time Thunderstock winner, and that was where the controversial spinner spinny rule came up with Adam Turner, who was already having a bad couple of weeks down there at Brighton. Some people just seem to attract the drama. And Clint, the end of this race, there were 4 cars racing, 2 wide, 2 deep, like bumping and grinding, but nothing really nasty. Just phenomenal race, like lap after lap. And Corey White, God, I just had a brain fart. Corey White, the 41, yeah, it's Corey White. I'm 90% sure. Led the whole thing, running the bottom of the track. Coming to the white flag, this is my take on it. I saw it differently than the officials saw it. Adam Turner pushed Corey down the backstretch. Got a good run. He has nowhere he can go. Got a good run off of turn 2. Pushes Corey down the backstretch. Justin Ramsey's racing on the outside of him. They go down into turn 3. Turner gets off his back bumper going into the turn. But Corey cooked it into the turn a little bit hotter than he had the whole race. Spun out. So in that yellow, I didn't know Brighton has a spinner spinny rule. As the announcer, I should know that.
And what does it mean anyways? Explain that for the folks that don't really know. Isn't it the same
It's
rule we have now?
It's a rule to where, as the race leader, you cannot be screwed out of a win by someone else's overzealous driving.
But that is
So
okay. So isn't that how we've always governed races here at our tracks?
No.
Why? When
No,
have you ever seen someone be able to spin someone out at Oshweek and get away with it?
When have you ever seen someone spin out and get their spot back?
Well, it depends on what situation you're talking about.
No. When at Oshweek have you seen someone get
we don't give your spot back.
That's the spinner spinny rule. So Corey White spun out in turn 3. Yellow flag comes out. Under the yellow, there's a little bit of juking and jiving between Adam Turner and Corey White. There's a long conversation with Adam Turner and Brett Meinecker on the racetrack. And then Corey White restarts on the pole and Adam Turner restarts at the back.
Okay,
Green
so
and white together.
Clarify from that point. What we would do is if second place spins out the leader, they're both going tail. What you're saying is the one who made the contact, in this case Turner, allegedly, because I've seen the video after and we'll discuss that, gets put to the back. Basically, get your spot back. So if you get dumped, you get your spot back, right?
And
just to clarify how we govern it around here and how Doug Leonard and I have governed it, because lots of guys would say, well, he dumped me on the back straightaway and you didn't do anything about it. The only way, and this is that Doug or any race director can really police it properly, in my opinion, is if it brings out a yellow. So if somebody in 6th place spins out the 5th place guy and the 5th place guy gets control and keeps going, we're not going to stop the race, throw a yellow, penalize the 6th place car, put him to the tail. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Now, if he dumps you and causes a caution, he can go to the back with you. But, I mean, if it doesn't bring out a yellow, it's basically rough driving, and we have to deal with it after the race. But in this situation, they give the spot back. So continue on the story. You're saying green, white, checkered finish now. I don't know. I don't think we have the video.
So it's a one-lap dash. Look it up. Find it. It's misleading, okay? Because traditionally, for me to spin you out, Clinton, I hit you, you spin out. Okay, like basic math. Science.
I've seen the video though. He's nowhere near him.
Yes, he is. He pushed them all the way down the backstretch. So you see them there, and then you don't see them for a couple seconds, and Adam Turner is on his back bumper pushing. By the time they got to the turn, Adam Turner got off his back bumper, but Corey White was carrying maybe 5 miles an hour more into the corner than he had that whole race because Adam Turner pushed him down the backstretch. So that's why
I was watching, so the in-car video that I was watching was a car on the outside lane, which was not the involved car.
That was Justin Ramsey. Yep.
Got you.
So
okay, I follow the situation.
That's where it gets tricky. So in my world, I need to hit you and spin you out for me to spin you out. Their determination was Turner pushed him hard enough down the backstretch to cause him to spin out in turn 3. Like I say, I don't love the call, but that's okay. Officials make their call and they got to stand by it. So that video is a little bit misleading. And Adam Turner will tell you, the first thing I did after the race night was over is walk down to Adam Turner's pit because I just wanted to understand how that ruling works and how some of the drama was. And he said, yeah, my only chance was to force him into a mistake. And he did. In my mind, it's a good move. In Adam's mind, it's a good move. The officials called what they saw, and I get it. So Corey White gets his spot back, and it was a one-lap sprint to the finish. He did a great job, picked up his very first win, and it was an exciting moment. And the Turner family feels like, or Adam feels like, he's being targeted at the track. But that's kind of a Brighton Speedway. There's always someone who feels butthurt at Brighton Speedway, like they're being picked on. But I think it's just the nature of that type of racetrack.
Now, I am with the officials in that you can push somebody far enough down the back straightaway and not give them an opportunity to get off to make the turn. Can you agree to that?
Yeah, like I say, if that's what
you're
they
just
saw,
saying in this situation, you felt that he was off him soon enough that it was.
I felt he was.
But yeah. you also have I was a little bit not pissed at you, but with the Brett Stratford AJ Lewis call on Friday night at Ush Weekend, and we can get into that a bit later. And in my defense or post situation, I watched it back and realized that if I had the information you have, I would have been more inclined to side with what you were saying. But yeah. I don't think we knew it was a dead heat at that moment when the times were exact and all that. But
had I not said something at that moment, would it have ever come up?
It may not have. It may not have.
Right. You've got to look at the fine print to see that. And it helps that we discussed it in the winter. So I knew it was a bit contentious, but I just kind of gave my opinion. But the nice thing was Doug did what he could to get it right. So a dead heat at the line, according to the transponders. In the world of Adam Ross racing, that doesn't mean shit. Whoever crossed the line first won the race. There is no line on most dirt tracks, but I hope we're going to have a laser line at some point because I think there should be one right at the bottom of the flag stand, pointed down, easy peasy. So in my world, I'm watching that finish go across. It's the car that crosses first that gets scored in that position. From my vantage point, I thought it was Brett Stratford. In the argument we had in the wintertime, you and Doug teamed up on me, and fine, you've got your place. You say, nope, we got electronic scoring. That's what we go by. Bullshit. You got to go by what happened on the track. Doug did the right thing to measure how far transponders were from the front of those cars. So he did determine the right outcome.
Let's bring on Todd Lewis, who's patiently waiting in the wings. Todd, welcome into the frying pan, sir. See how I got out of that one?
Just heard you guys talking and Adam making some really good points. And Clinton said, okay, so hard left turn. We're going to bring in a guest to change the subject.
No, I'm glad you recognize that. The laser line is a good idea. I'd like to do that for the chalk line. I've been looking for something like that too. So if anyone knows a way we can lay down a laser chalk line, it'd be cool.
And again, it's open dialogue is how you get to solutions and how you say, wow, who could have ever seen that happening? Who in their right mind would think, like 20 years ago, we didn't time things to the thousandth of a second.
Right.
And now that we do, we have a dead heat.
Yeah. Well, because I know one of the things you guys wanted to talk about was IndyCar, and they timed to the 10,000th of a second now because it's that fine a slice that you have to make sometimes. And all good points, Adam, too, about measuring where the transponder is on the race car, because it is going to vary a little bit depending on the car, depending on who places it. But those are all things that need to be considered to make sure that you do get accurate results at the finish line and on every lap before that.
When it's that
in my opinion,
when it's that finite too, Adam, like Doug brings up a good point. It's all perception too. Where you are in perception to that line, you're not viewing it dead. The other thing is the guy like Brett was coming from behind, so he's got momentum. So your mind tricks you into thinking he's ahead, even if they're right there, because a half second later or a millisecond later, he actually is ahead because he's carrying the pass through, right? So it's like just the way your brain processes it all. But, what can we do, Adam? And that was kind of my argument with you, just jostling back and forth live on Friday night, was we do have a finish line. It's in the dirt. it's a wire in there, and we immediately took both cars to tech and measured, and the transponders are in the exact same spot. So I mean, holy heck, how can it be any better than that? I guess Brett could have got his chance to talk for the first time in the podium, but he's going to have his chance. He was the top gun there last week. But let's jump into Toronto Indy, Todd.
Sure.
We got still have a lot to get through. Traditionally a big race for the teams. A lot of logistical issues, right? They've got to move in early, stay later than they want to, probably in a lot of cases. It's not just a pull in, pull out type deal like it would be at another short track. But still, amazing to be part of this big stage in a major market in downtown Toronto, free to the fans with a donation to Make-A-Wish. So much great stuff going on. Set up Friday for us.
You're absolutely right. It's great for NASCAR Pinty's teams to be involved with this big event. They're the feature on Friday. They are the race. Everybody else will practice. There'll be some qualifying, but they are the race on Friday, and admission is free. They ask that you make a donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's been really successful in terms of a promotion for everybody because they've raised over $800,000 in doing this promotion for the last number of years as well. So the crowds turn out, Make-A-Wish benefits. You get to see some great racing action too out on track because as you guys will attest, Pinty's drivers race like they do on short tracks at the Toronto Indy circuit. It's 11 turns. Some of them are really tight. Some places you shouldn't go side by side, but sometimes they do. Sometimes two cars come out. Sometimes a portion of two cars wind up coming out the other side, but it's 35 laps of excitement. Andrew Ranger, Alex Tagliani have waged battle in back-to-back years, each of them coming up with a victory. Kevin Lacroix won. Marc-Antoine Camara has unfinished business there. LP Dumoulin's going to be gunning for a big day in Toronto. And there's going to be a field of 25 cars. It's going to be an exciting day for the Pinty series. And that is the good part, is that you'll practice and qualify in the morning, and then you're racing in the afternoon. I'm not sure what the logistics are, how soon they're going to be able to get out for the trip west that's coming up after that. But to get in, get out, and be done in one day is the good part. And you're the feature attraction on a Friday afternoon too, which is pretty cool.
And Todd, as you can attest, Friday is a special day at the Indy. Because of it being free with the donation, you get a ton of city people coming to that venue who would never, ever go to a car race.
Who actually works until 5 o'clock on a Friday in July if you're working in an office in a city? Probably not everybody. And there are those that decide, you know what, I'm going to take Friday off and make it a long weekend, but they'll still come into the city and come to the track. Yeah, the crowds have been very good on Friday, and the free admission, please make a donation to Make-A-Wish is a cool way to do it. And as you guys know, with the Pinty's teams too, everything's open. You can walk right through the paddock. Everybody's there working on their cars. They've got time for you. They're doing an autograph session in the Enter Care Center in the middle of the day too, where they always get great crowds. So it's a fun activity. And it is, ask anyone who's been, always one of the best races of the weekend.
No, it's quite a party atmosphere too. Like, once you get over that one walkover bridge and you get over where the paddock and all that is, there's tons of activities. If you're into having a cold one, you can strut around right up to the cars, drinking a beer. Yeah. Like it's a party. And
it's a pretty
just
cool
it's in
way.
Downtown. Everybody talks about Canada not being able to tailgate. Well, you want to tailgate, there's the perfect tailgate. You're right there actually on the car tailgates. But
most people aren't driving either, Clint. Like most people take transit to get there.
You're right.
So you can enjoy some drinks. You don't have to worry about what's happening. You climb on a train and you go home.
Well, let's talk about that, Adam. If you are south of Toronto, let's say, like we are in the London, Cambridge, Niagara corridor, you drive to Burlington, get onto the Appleby GO station. You're about 40 minutes out. Costs a few bucks, but you drive in. You ride in on the train. You get off right at the gate. At the gate, come right back. Like it's no more convenient. So if you've ever thought about taking it in, I'll tell you a quick story, Todd. Me and my brother Mikey, who's coming on the show a bit later to talk about his win Friday-weekend. We went to our first IndyCar race for the Pinty's race, probably 10 years ago. My kids were little, And we're like, yeah, wasn't anybody like these Indy cars on the streets anyways? And then two of them went by, and us hard and dirt guys looked at each other and went, whoa, that was amazing. And we were hooked. So if you like, I kind of like I tell them about sprint cars. If you're any kind of vintage car, musclehead, motorcycle guy, go see it. You will not be disappointed.
It is take your breath away exciting as any form of racing is, especially when you get it up close, whether it's sprint cars and stuff. But if you haven't experienced Indy cars on the streets of Toronto, it's this is one of my favorite events. It was part of my love of motorsports growing up. So yeah, I'm a big IndyCar fan. I'm a big IndyCar guy, and having been able to work a few of them, it's a lot of fun too. Teams are great. Same thing. There's a real accessibility. And honestly, I'm really interested to get to Toronto this week to see, first of all, if anybody at Andretti Autosports, any of those drivers are actually speaking to one another, because at Mid-Ohio, they were running into one another on and off the track, and it was rather dramatic. So I'm interested to see that. And this afternoon, Chip Ganassi Racing made a statement and declared that they had picked up the option on 2021 Series champion Alex Palou for the 2023 season. Well, I guess it was like, I don't know, maybe an hour or so ago now, Alex Palou said, this is news to me, and I've informed Chip Ganassi Racing that I was going to leave next year, and McLaren has said, welcome Alex Palou, our 2023 driver. So I don't know if anybody on those teams is going to be speaking to each other this weekend. There is a lot of drama in the IndyCar paddock that is headed towards Toronto this weekend. So I'm thinking that gloves are off even more so than usual. I think it's going to be pretty cool to see.
I want to change gears just a little bit, Todd. There's talk about NASCAR Cup Series running street races like in different venues throughout North America, because it opens it wide open. The downtown streets of Chicago, the downtown streets of pick a city. In your opinion, talk about the scope of that. How legitimate is street racing when it comes to a premier racing series? You and I have seen a lot of stock car races on street courses.
Well, if you are wondering about the validity and whether or not it's going to work, all you have to do is go back and check on the previous 6 Pinty's races, or come check out the 7th one that's going to run on Friday afternoon in Toronto, because it is more than viable. It is bringing the show to the fans, which so often needs to happen. Everybody kind of looked and screwed up their face and saw, well, what are they doing, NASCAR going to the Coliseum for the Clash? It was an enormous success. Well, if you run a street race in Chicago, as is the speculation now, we're just waiting for all the confirmation and all the details to get locked down. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be dramatic, having that many cars in the city, bringing the show to the fans. It's a festival. It's part kart race and part festival. And that's the part that some have difficulty understanding, is that, yes, the car race is there. And if you were a complete gearhead and that's all you're interested in, well, you're going to have your needs satisfied, because you're going to have lots of great racing action. But if you also want to go and enjoy the party and enjoy the festival and make it a celebration the way some of the other outdoor festivals are, well, you have that opportunity too. The conduit is the car racing. It brings you together, but there is so much more that you can offer by having this in the city, as opposed to at a track that is outside the city or outside the city limits. It'll be a great success. It'll be a great spectacle. Will it go on for 100 years at the same location in the same way? I don't know. But so what if they wind up moving it around every other year?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter. It will still be a great success.
Well, Todd, one final question before we bring on Dale Shaw, who's in the waiting room. How about this Pinty series we're in 2022? Kind of a resurgence. I mean, the three of us have been on the road following this whole deal. I'll miss Friday because I'll be at home getting ready for a weekend. But let's talk about what a crazy year it's been. We've had guys who dominate races and can't put the finish on. Finally gets one done. There's been so many crazy stories.
There really,
let you go.
Yeah, there really has been. Marc-Antoine Cameron has led like more than twice the number of laps of his closest competitor. He's led over 440, 450 laps this season, but only has the one win. Finally got the win in Newfoundland. And Andrew Ranger scored the victory in Chaudière, but has also had real struggles. There's a couple of quiet ones too. How about Brandon Watson, who's up there? Great rookie campaign for him so far. Kevin Lacroix is very sneakily staying in the mix. Alex Tagliani hasn't had a win yet, but he's right in the hunt too. A little bit of a struggle at Newfoundland, but he'll be good in Toronto. So, he's going to be in the mix. I think this championship is going to come right down to championship weekend at Delaware. And it's way too early to make a call as to who's going to take it. I think we need to see how it plays out a little bit. I think once we get back from the West after Saskatoon and Edmonton, then I think we'll have a better handle on who the actual contenders are. But I'm loving that it's wide open. Cameron has really dominated in terms of laps left, but still only one race win so far.
You got to seal the deal.
Yeah.
Todd, we'll see you on Friday.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for having me. See you Friday.
Thank you,
Todd. So the Toronto Indy kicks off Friday with the Pinty series. Like we said, make a donation to Make-A-Wish Foundation. You can get it for free. And it's going to be awesome. And for those asking, yes, it drops you right off at the gate if you take the GO train in. Yep. Great service in and out, and probably closer than any sporting venue in Toronto to the train station is literally right at the doorstep. So many great other things to do if you're taking your kids. Just tons of great little displays and stuff
there are.
Participate in.
Yep.
Let's bring in Dale Shaw. Dale reached out to me after last APC race because I was trying to sound smart on pit road, and we were close. But Dale said, "Hey, if you ever have any questions, let me know." So we were messaging back and forth. He was educating me, and with Flamborough coming up, Dale, you've run a lot of laps there. Welcome to the program. And what's going to be the hard part about Flamborough this weekend for the APC teams?
Freeze. Hello.
I got you.
Hello.
He's frozen.
Oh, it froze on my end. I don't know. I guess you get to look at my pretty face like that. Hard part of survival. Flamborough Speedway, I think we've learned that over the past couple years. Just got to be there at the end and survive, I guess.
And knowing going in, Dale, where will you start this weekend if you time trial in the top 10?
So we're about 9th in points. So we don't actually know. It depends on how many non-regulars show up. And it also depends on how many guys in the top 10 qualify. But you kind of know a handful of guys that end up in the top 10 every week. So the worst will start if we qualify in the top 10. Somewhere between, say, 4th and 6th, something like that, if I was to guess. But we qualified good the last time we were there, so fingers crossed we can do it again.
Dale, we watched you at Delaware. Part of our storyline was talking about how you guys were set up for the long run. With these impound races, for our viewers who don't understand that, you basically don't get to adjust your car once you take it out for qualifying. What you drive out to qualify is what you have to race on later on in the evening, and tracks change a lot during these hot days into the cool, kind of what still feels like a spring night. But at what point, my question is, at what point is the go time? You set up for the long run. Is it, ride till 70, ride till 80? At what point do you guys say, okay, guys, now I have to start making these moves? Or does it just come to you?
See, so that's the one thing with the APC series that I've noticed the biggest difference from now, say, since 2015-16, is the field's a lot deeper. You can't just ride around in 20th, because I felt like we had one of the best cars at the end of the race at Delaware, but I was in 20th to 15th too long up until about lap 25, and then we ran out of laps. Obviously, we had, so you can't ride anymore. That's the problem. And you have to set your car up so you're going to be good at the end, but you can't really ride at the beginning because you need to be going forward when you qualify as bad as I did at Delaware. So,
has it been hard to test this year, Dale?
For some people, it depends. Depends on who you are, I guess you could say. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but actually, we had fun today. We had some driver development stuff going on. We were playing with some 4-cylinder stuff today. So I did one test at the beginning of the year at Sunset, and then I went and tested at Flamborough before the Flamborough PC race. But that's all the testing I've done this year, because the rule is supposed to be 2 tests for the whole year. I don't think everybody is quite abiding by that rule per se. And the other problem is, as far as I know, you can't get practice tires. So when you're going testing, you're testing on tires that you wouldn't even practice on a race day. So you're talking about being 6, 7, 8 tenths off. And when you get into testing on tires that are that old, you're not really learning a lot to start with. But we could go testing if we wanted to. You kind of got to push some envelopes and do some things you're not supposed to do. But yeah, we haven't done really any testing this year, to be honest with you.
Dale, Flamborough coming up, you have to be one of the favorites coming in. It's a tough place to move forward, without moving guys around. What's the key to making a pass at that place?
Sticking your nose in there and hoping the guy in front of you gives you the respect of what it is. I know, like my last Flamborough race, I felt like my nose was in there, and the guy in front of me decided he didn't think my nose was in there, and the results of that are flat front tires. So you kind of got to know who you're racing against. Was going for 5th at the time. Wanted to get to the bottom in case we got a caution. All these things are going through your head as you're trying to plan a race and stuff like that. But yeah, the Flamborough Speedway is the toughest racetrack. There are very few guys in the series that get excited to go there, to be honest with you. Just that it's hard on equipment. It's hard to pass. It's hard to race. It's stressful. Nobody's happy after the night's over. Nobody's happy when the night starts, and we're all glad to get to the track after. But it's a part of the series, and it's what makes APC unique, right? Like, we go to some very unique racetracks. No two tracks are alike. And this week's challenge is to survive Flamborough, and that's kind of the attitude me and my guys take into it. And if you have a fast race car and you have a chance to win, you go for it. If not, you survive and you get ready for the next week, right?
What's it going to take to stop J.R. Fitzpatrick?
It's a good question. I would say this is not the week that I shouldn't say that. This isn't the week that I say I'll have a shot at it, because JR is dynamite at Flamborough Speedway. He has, I haven't raced there a lot in the past, so I haven't run full time there since 2015. I've only run pretty much the APC stuff since then. I don't have a ton of laps there, and I don't really enjoy racing there at the same time. What's it going to take to beat him? Probably him have a bad race, to be honest with you. Like, it's funny, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this too. Like, every year there's kind of one or two guys who they just kind of hit it. Like, there was the year Joe Lawrence was like on fire. Brandon Watson had 2 years where he was on fire. Like in 2015 when I won my deal, I think I had 5 or 6 top 5 finishes. Like, I almost couldn't do any wrong that year, right? So this just seems to be JR's year. But the one thing, looking back on the history of the APC series, we all have a bad race. Even the guy who has the best year has a bad race. And this might be, that week where he has a mechanical issue, or, anything can happen at Flamborough Speedway. But I would look at, you got to start up front. You got to get up front early, and you got to be able to get up front and not get away, but be able to set a pace so that you're not using your stuff up, but you're not, knocking your toe out and cutting tires and stuff like that, trying to get there. So.
Right on, Dale. We appreciate you being with us. Anything else you want to ask him, Adam?
No, you know what? The connection's a little bit spotty, Dale, but always good to talk to you, and we'll look forward to seeing you Saturday.
Actually, I got a cool story for you, Adam. You got like 2 minutes for a cool story?
Yep.
Sure do.
So we talked last time I was on here, we were talking about the family and the generations and stuff like that. So I had a cousin get in the car for the first time today, in the 4-cylinder car. It'd be my Uncle Randy's son, Blaze. So that's now, I don't even know, I've probably a dozen family members of mine that have been in a race car now. So that's another Shaw that's been in a race car now. So there you go.
That's awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Shaws.
I'll work on the connection next time. Sorry, boys.
Oh, yeah, all good. It happens.
Right on.
Dale's a great source of information. Really good guy, Clint, but a great source of information. If you need to learn something, and as announcers, we're always trying to learn a little bit. You can't believe everything that you hear at the races, but you always have certain sources you can go to pick up little bits of this and that. Dale is one of those people where you can always get something from him if you ask the right questions.
Yeah, he actually reached out to me and said I was making the right synopsis of the situation there, and then we got talking about some tech things, and he was giving me some information. I said, hey, when you're putting adjustments to the right side, what's going on there? So he was talking to me about wedge bolts. I said, no, we need to film all this as an NTN bearing situation. Would be great to get it all on the air and show the fans what you guys are doing, because we're not always there to commentate. So we're going to work on getting some of that stuff done with Dale.
It used to be a wedge adjustment, every time. It was either wedge, like you're either adjusting it in the right rear or the left rear, but now there's wedge, there's track bar, so there's different adjustments doing different things. But it used to be, if you watch someone turn rounds into the right rear, they're trying to loosen the car up. You're driving that right rear into the ground. Left rear, they're trying to tighten the car up. Well, now you can't do that because you don't know exactly what they're adjusting on.
Right on. Yeah, I'm hoping to learn a bit more too, so we can sound a bit more educated. I'm pretty together on the dirt sprint cars, but the APC late models are new to me, so we're trying to figure that one out. Just wait and see if Kyle Steckley and Mikey Krutch could join us on the line. Just send a message to Mike, and we'll see if he gets on the line here. And I think he's just logging in. He said, "I want to talk about a situation that happened at Merrittville. Dave Bailey got his transmission taken Saturday night. He was protested by another team. They wanted to look at the transmission. I understand it was tore apart today, and Dave Bailey passed inspection. So for all the tech that has been thrown at Dave Bailey this season, he has passed. Including all the other stuff. That's a note for Merrittville coming up, which Merrittville's up next at 9 p.m. right after this show. Merrittville from Saturday night, and Dave Bailey had the transmission taken. They tore it apart today at an outside source, and everything came back clean and green for Dave. So that's good. How about our Burger Barn video of the week? That was the video you and I both sent to the chat twice. I know Spencer's got it ready to go. This one, as they're going green, was a pretty wild situation. I don't think I've ever seen this wild. But, man, when you ever want to take somebody out, this is how you envision doing it. Listen to the voices. I don't even think I heard it with the volume on. Goes green, and no thanks.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog.
Uh-oh.
Back at it again.
No.
I'm
Hey,
trying
Garrett,
to
how do you do it? How do we jump into that?
Spencer, can you play that video? Do you have any more of that video? It's the reaction of the fans. Like, that wasn't... Okay. That wasn't horror in that fan's voice. That was yeehaw.
Get him, Cletus!
And that's frightening.
It is crazy down south, some of the stuff that goes on. We see Mikey Krutch getting lined up to get on board. We'll bring him on as soon as he's ready.
And Clint, that would be a tough one to call live.
Oh,
because
man.
it is conceivable that steering wheel pops off just at that moment. Tie rod breaks. Tie rod. I'm serious. You can't, unless you can look in the window and see the driver's arms turn to the right. You'd have a hard time calling that.
Let's go back 10 minutes. 10 minutes in the video, and let's see what happened between Cletus and Jethro 2 laps prior. And I bet we could make a good call on that situation.
But what if you get to the car and you've called him names because it's so egregious what he did, and he shows you that the steering column is broken right off in the cockpit?
Well, that'd be an amazing defense next time you wreck somebody. Pop that wheel off and go, look, it fell off.
That's why I said that the steering column being broken, because I didn't want to give you the out that no, maybe he pulled it off. But, you have to walk that line. We do take a lot of circumstances into account, but sometimes you see something the way it is, and it's not the way it was. But I think that's the way it was.
Well, welcome Mikey Krutch to the show now. Mike, welcome to the program. The only way you get to talk on this program is if you're a winner. And you got one Friday night. Congrats. Your car's been running good. And, how's it feel to pick up the trophy?
It feels really good. We weren't going that good at the beginning of the summer there in the other car. And then I practiced with this car. I got the new XXX chassis with all my old components from last year and the motor from last year. And right out of the box at practice, I knew I had a good one. It was pretty awesome. And then the first night in the box, we were second place and just been knocking on the door every time out in this car, give or take.
Mikey, how hard was it to psych yourself up? The last couple of years watching you race has been very frustrating, knowing that you don't forget. A person doesn't forget how to drive, but you haven't looked that good out there in terms of raw speed. How hard was it to get yourself psyched up once you got that new chassis? You say, look, I'm a winner. I can go out here and win.
I think just the change in the chassis itself was a big thing. I think it would have been hard to psych myself up to go out and try again with the old car that I had last year. That car last year was an 04 Eagle. That was the first car I ever had. So it's it had a lot of great memories in it, and I just ended up getting it at a really good deal, and it allowed me to kind of just start up with nothing again last year by getting the frame and then finding a motor and bolting the stuff to it, getting the body on it and stuff. So I kind of knew we were going to be a little bit off the pace maybe, but just getting the new frame this year was like, okay, it's time. We're back to where we need to be. You can do it. Let's just be positive and move forward. So to answer your question, it wasn't really hard because I knew I had a really good piece, and I had a good set of shocks here from that 87 speed of the FK shocks. So I know I had good springs, good shocks, good tires, a really good motor. So for what we had into it, and so it didn't really take too much to get psyched up. I knew we were going to be okay.
Mike, let's talk about the drive straight off the bottom. I mean, you seem to be very patient lately as you worked through more experience there at Oshweek. You're one of the toughest when it slicks over lately. I kind of watched you on Friday and figured Mac Demand would gap you a bit, but you should be able to reel him back in by being patient. How has that driving style developed for you?
It's just a matter of hating losing a lot. You know what I mean? When you see guys running better in that situation, and typically come middle of summer and late into the nights, the track is more often than not slick like that. So that's just kind of where I just had to shift my focus on that and just be patient. And to answer your question, yeah, you see Mac rip out on the top early there. It's hard to see. Well, you can't see what's going on behind you, but a majority of those guys are running up there too and wearing that lane out, where the middle's it's already totally wore out. So, if we're pretty good there, we know that the top's going to go away a bit. And then I moved down to the bottom, the extreme bottom a couple times, but we just didn't have the pull off the bottom. So you just kind of feel the momentum and try not to spin the tires at all or very little. And just trying to remind yourself it's the same conditions for everybody. And you just have to make the absolute most out of every tire rotation you have. And if you can do that, then wherever the cards lie, you can finish your race and be happy with your performance, knowing that you did everything you could behind the wheel to not mess it up.
So knowing that you had the confidence to do it and then drawing the pull for the feature, how much pressure do you put on yourself, Mikey, knowing that was your opportunity?
Oh, it's stupid. I hate it. I don't like drawing the pull for that reason, because you just have, and I knew what the track was like, and I knew kind of where we were before was set up, and you're like, all right, I'm just going to try and get as best we can and go from there. Once you're strapped up sitting in the push-off track, you're kind of relaxed, and it's like, it is what it is. But it's so easy to second guess yourself. And I really love parking in the back on the instant installation pad there, because when you're on $1 Million Row and you have cars all around you and you see them coming back from watching the crate race or something, and they're all making crazy changes and doing stuff, it gets in your head where like, I already kind of knew where I wanted to be and was like, I'm going with this no matter what happens here, no matter what I see anybody else do. So I just kind of made my changes, knew where I was going to be, and just said, all right, let's go for it from the pole. And luckily it all worked out, because nothing worse than going backwards from P1.
Right on, Mike. We appreciate you being here. We're going to let you go now. We're going to move on. Kyle Steckley's coming up soon, but keep out there, keep running good, man, and we'll be talking to you more.
Yeah, keep it short and sweet. I like it.
Perfect. Popular win Friday, Mike. Good for you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just want to say thanks to everybody that helps me out, Instant Insulation and Nitro 54, Best Way Betting, all the big dogs there. They make it happen. And the GeForce TV, obviously, you guys, it's a whole different world for the little guys and the little teams like me to be able to go out and ask for sponsors with confidence and to be able to show them a wicked product that their name is getting out there on a pretty grand scale every week with a top-notch show. It really makes us look and feel like rock stars. So I'm really thankful for that, guys. So thanks again for having me, and appreciate what you do.
All right, man.
I got one more quick for you, Mike. At the end of the race, you're kind of a guy who's, cold at the races, let's put it that way. You stick to yourself. You've said it before, I don't go to the races to make friends. After the race, you're getting a hug from Ryan Turner, Mac Demand. You guys are all fierce competitors. What's that all about? What's that like? You guys just realize it was a good race, or, there's obviously a lot of respect between you guys.
I think we all know exactly, no matter what level of funding or who you are or where you come from, what it takes to get a win at Oshweek and to field one of these cars. You know what I mean? It's a bold move. You gotta put yourself out there physically, financially, and mentally if it's not going very well. So I think no matter who they are or who we are, who the competitors are, I think we're all happy on some level for each and every one of us. When you do have success, it's, you know what I mean, you give credit where credit's due, and you kind of, it sucks because we lost, but we're also happy for our competitors that they're out there, they're having a good time, and they're racing and playing safe and having some success. Because ultimately, you know what I mean, unless you're like an anomaly, we're not going to have one guy that wins all the time. So it's kind of nice to spread the level a bit around and stuff like that. So there is, you know what I mean? And now that you said that, I kind of owed both of them once. They both kind of punked me off the track last year. But you just put that behind you and go racing, man. Well, at least I'm not rich enough to play that game to be having numbers on my dash. So we just kind of, you know what I mean? I'm happy for everybody. They're happy for me. And it's a great bunch of guys. I think we're blessed to be racing it, especially in sprint cars when we have open wheel and it's aggressive and volatile. You know what I mean? If we had a handful of dickweeds, it'd make for a very expensive long season. But I think we only really have maybe one or two dickweeds, and that they're easy to navigate around because they're pretty slow. So thanks again for having me on, guys. I appreciate that. And we'll see you guys Friday night.
All right, man. Be good.
Tune in live G-Force TV if you can't be out to Ashweekend this Friday to watch Mike try and be the first one to go back-to-back winner this year, as Wesley just posted. I just looked it up, actually. 5 races, 5 different winners in the 360s this year. It's been a great start to the season. This Friday, Ashweekend, is Halloween in July. Cash prizes for adults and fans who dress up. And also, we'll be doing some Let's Make a Deal at intermission. And I think we're also going to do a bit of trick-or-treating for the kids at intermission. So
Nice.
Come on up to Ashweekend Speedway. Great value, great deal, great racing. If you can't be with us, we'll be live on G-Force 7:30, live from Ashweekend every Friday. We'll
And
bring
come
in our
out and
next
try to
guest now.
decide. Come out and try to decide who are the 2 dickweeds Mikey is talking about. Because I don't, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything, but that will be fun. Wonder who Mikey thinks it's a dickweed.
I can tell you. Let's bring in Kyle Steckley.
Hey guys,
Kyle,
how
Kyle,
you doing?
welcome. Kyle, who are
do
the
you-
dickweeds in the APC series?
Yeah, do you deal with a lot of dickweeds on the track, Kyle? Or do you
I-
just bite your tongue and do your thing?
I just keep that to myself.
Keep smiling.
He comes by that honestly, Clinton. His dad wouldn't say shit if his mouth was full of it. He just always went to the races with a lot of pride and a lot of class. I never heard your dad speak poorly of anybody, even though he had plenty of reason to once in a while. So lesson well learned, Kyle.
Yeah. You know, it just, I don't know, but if don't have nothing nice to say, don't say it.
Good move. Kyle, I got a question for you. So Dale Shaw was recently on the program here a little while ago. He told us Flamboro's a place nobody really loves to go to. It's tough to pass on. It's a place you guys just want to survive. Last year, you probably thought that when you went in there. You end up coming out with your first APC win. So is it a place you're pumped to go back to because you feel you're competitive? Or is it a place you just try and survive so you can be there at the end to try and grab another win there?
No, definitely not. I'm pumped to go back to Flamborough Speedway. I love it there. I love the racing there. I think it's great racing. It's hard racing. It's challenging. You know, it's not an easy place to pass, and it makes it a lot of fun. Got a lot of laps around there, and I think I've got her figured out pretty good. So hopefully we can go out this weekend and contend for a win and hopefully get that first win of the season in the series.
Kyle, does it surprise you that you haven't won a race yet this year?
Yeah, well, we had a lot of confidence going into the start of the season, and I was really hoping to contend for wins right off the bat, which we have. We were competitive at Flamborough and Delaware with second place finishes, but it's been challenging. It's a tough series, and you know, if you're off just a little bit, you're running 6th or 7th. So it's definitely challenging. I've learned a lot, and you know, just gonna keep learning, and hopefully we can get that win soon. But yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle at the start of the season. Not a bad run, but just overall haven't got to victory lane yet.
Kyle, you sit 3rd in the point standings right now, which is amazing with the talent in that series and the veterans who have the experience of these places that you're just really trying to figure out in a car you're trying to get into. You know, what's the one thing you guys as a team are trying to turn around to get better results?
You know, it's tough for us because I've never been to half the tracks we're going to. I've only ever raced at, before this year, I had only ever raced at Flamborough and Delaware in a late model. So it's tough going to places like Peterborough and Sunset that are really tricky to get a hang of and run with these guys who have ran there all their lives and have tons of years under their belt. So we're just trying to get as many laps as we can at these different tracks, and hopefully the second time around to most of them we have a bit better showing and just keep learning each race, and hopefully near the end of the year here we can start picking up some wins and chasing down JR at the top of the standings.
Tell you, Cal, there's one thing I know about watching Steckley teams race over the years, and it's always willing to try something a little different. And I've watched over time, the car will look a little bit off, and I'm talking more about your dad than you, but then all of a sudden he hits what he was looking for, and he'll go on a dominant streak of like a season and a half of being untouchable. I've watched you in practice the last couple of APC races, and the car looks really loose coming off the corner, like snap loose, and it doesn't remind me of a Steckley car. Are you guys working towards something? Have you been doing some experimenting with that race car?
Yeah, we've been changing a lot of stuff this year, trying things, just trying to be different, trying to get that edge over these guys, and it's tough. And I think we're getting closer. It's a new car this year, so lots of little bugs and trying to figure stuff out. And I think we're getting it better every week, but hopefully we can catch on it here soon and start dominating some races. I'd like that.
Am I mistaken though? Like, or have you had a real snappy loose car a couple of times in practice?
No, definitely. We've been struggling with the loose off the corner car pretty much every race we went to, except for Flamborough. Somehow we hit on it at Flamborough. It just tightened up a little too much for us with the track cooling down at the end, but we had a really good car at Flamborough. But everywhere else, we've just been struggling a bit getting off the corners, and it's hurt us on the long runs.
As you move up the divisions, how tough is it to go from like a 30, 35 lap race to a 100 lap race in the heat? Is that something you've had to adjust to at all, Kyle?
It's a little different. The biggest thing for me is what the car does and what the track does. The track changes so much in a 100 lap race in the APC series that it's really just a game of hitting the setup for what the track's going to do, and then also keeping the tires under you for those 100 laps. If you have an ill handling car, it's tough to do that. So those are the biggest things that we're trying to learn, and I'm trying to get better at as a driver. And it's definitely challenging when you got 25 other guys out there who have a ton of experience and are all great racers with great cars underneath them.
Right on. Well, that's all I got for you, Kyle. We wanted to have you on and chat about, well, first, congratulations on your win Friday at Delaware. Talk about what is the difference between winning a Friday night show at Delaware and winning an APC show at Flamborough like you did last year?
It's definitely a little different, but the competition at Delaware Speedway is amazing. It's the next best thing to racing in the APC series. I think they get 20 cars out every night, a lot of good guys there. So it's definitely not easy to win one of those races either, but it felt good to get the first win, and hopefully we can keep rolling off that. We're back at Delaware Friday night and Flamborough Saturday, so it's going to be a busy weekend for us, but hopefully we can keep rolling and get a couple more checkered flags.
Right on, Kyle. We'll be watching for you. You can check that out. Rogers live on Friday, and of course with us, we'll be live on G-Force Saturday night from Flamborough Speedway. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, guys.
Kyle Steckley, one of the stars of the future, Adam Bright. Days ahead for that youngster. We've seen it already.
And he doesn't waver. Like, I asked him a question that's not real
smiling.
Easy. Right, but still, I asked him about, are you working on something experimental? That's the kind of thing that could really bottle up a teenager. That he handles that stuff. He just cruises right over it, gives his answer, stays positive.
He's had Scott's speed secrets in his back pocket riding on his tricycle his whole life. Probably. He knows how to keep it.
He doesn't need Scott's speed secrets. He just needs Scott. Scott won't tell Kyle. He just does it. Who knows? Kyle might move on to some mega team. Scott Steckley's going to have to hang on to those secrets.
There you go.
That's my take.
Laugh in the background. We got about 4.5 minutes to go here on the show. Adam, you want to talk about AJ Miller and the situation that you shared to the deal?
Yeah. He's
do you
one
know
of
about
ours.
that?
He's a racer, and he's in real health trouble right now. He needs a kidney, Clint. Susie Spellick made a post about it, and I plan on following up. I don't know what is involved in being tested to see if you're a viable match, but I do want to challenge people to come and do it with me. I'm going to get tested and see if I'm a match, but I think a racer needs our help, and we want to do everything we can to see AJ get the help that he needs. Good dude, local racer, super stock there at Flamborough Speedway, and he's in a fight right now.
Well, we obviously wish him the best. As we get ready to roll into busy weekend for you, Adam. You've got 3 races in 2 days. It's kind of cool. I love those days. I'm bummed I'm not going to be able to get to go to Toronto Indy. I'm going to try and catch the stream live on Flow from the Speedway since I won't be able to be there. Yeah, I'm bummed about that, but we'll catch up afterwards.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for
you
sure.
will fly right to Wash Weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to drive down early and have my truck there close to the track. So as soon as Victory Lane's over, I'll jump in. I'm going to bring Brent, our new media guy at the Speedway. We can ride in the HOV lane, and we'll be hammered down to Wash Weekend.
Have you read any of his articles?
No, but I hear he writes.
Amazing. Real good. I was reading his stuff this week. I read one. I'm like, I got to go back and read more. And he's doing a great job.
Right?
As a new guy coming into the racing world, Tommy trained him right off the bat. I don't think he really knew how to write a press release in our style, but he's doing a great job. And, the recap from this week was great. So we appreciate everything you're doing, Brent. And we always talk about bringing new people into the sport. So he was a new student, wanted to get involved, and we got him involved.
And he's a race fan. Big race fan. You know me, Clint. I don't watch our stuff. I do. Once I do it, it's done. But actually getting to sit and watch you guys work, it really sucked not being able to be there, but I really enjoyed the show. It was nice to be able to watch it and size things up and see, oh, this would be neat, or I really like that feature. Because when you're in the middle of it and you're doing it, you don't look at it the same way as when you're wishing you were there but not there and able to take in. I was able to watch some really good races.
I'm with you. For 20 years, I couldn't watch anything we've done. Even the TSN stuff we do, I never see it. We do it. It goes on. But I find myself watching the G4 stuff back, and I don't know what's because I'm the general manager of Wash Weekend. I got started doing that and trying to figure out how can we tweak things even more from the outside. It's a great kind of fishbowl look in for the situation there. I'd come home at 3 a.m. and I'd stay up till 5:30 watching the show again, just buzzing through it and looking at all the stuff that we could make better. But I find myself, I can watch it, and that's how I know we're on the right path. Because when I can actually stomach it the second time around, it's entertaining. I mean, I could listen to you and Greg or you and Jamie go at it all day long. Some great stuff, and I know you're excited to get back to Flamborough this week, so it's going to be a good 2-day doubleheader live on GeForce, and we're excited about that. Speaking of that, coming up live on GeForce TV in 1 minute's time is Merrittville Speedway from Saturday night. I want to mention, Adam, when I was up there, they've got Merrittville Eats is crazy now. They've got a smokehouse, a fried chicken shack, they've got the pizza, they got ice cream, and if you're looking for a place to just go hang out on a nice breezy Saturday or night or any night of the week for that matter, check out Merrittville Eats. They are the new presenting sponsor of the Merrittville Replays, so give it a try. Anything you'd want, from smoked ribs to chicken, pizza, ice cream, Merrittville Eats has got it daily up there on Merrittville Highway.
Awesome.
That's it for us, Adam.
I wanted to talk real quick. James Horner, APC racer, looking to improve. I thought it was really cool. He put a big post on Facebook because he had a day off or half a day off last week. They decided at the last minute to go and race at Peterborough Speedway. I thought that's what it's all about, having some extra time, going and barnstorming a race. Hats off to James Horner and his group.
Right on. Thanks to all our guests. Thanks to Spencer. We'll see you guys next week or Friday night, live from Wash Weekend.